Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having a great day or night in Jesus. Thank you so much for being with us. We're going to be looking today at extended adolescence, or the infantilization of society. Extended adolescence, or the infantilization of society. I was first presented with this. My wonderful professor, Dr. Sidney Poe at Jackson College of Ministries, had us read a book by Standard Publishing. And it was like in a sociology class or something when I was in Bible college. And it went into extended adolescence. So let me just share a little bit with you about that and how we can see that this has only deepened since the 1980s. There used to be markers of maturity out there. First of all, almost all schooling was done at home. You can do a study of the origin of public education in America, but almost all schooling was done at home for a very long time in America. It was basically a rural and agrarian society. So children only had adults. Obviously, there was no birth control at that time and stuff. So they only had adults as their role models. And so at a very young age, young ladies learned to help mom around the house. Young men learned to work with dad in the field, the forest, wherever they were. And so they were around older people all the time, so extraordinarily mature. And so then there were markers for maturity, for adulthood, and I've done a video on this many years ago, particular phraseology. I can't remember the phraseology right now. But anyhow, so children, unbelievably, were sometimes getting married as early as 12, 14, 16 years of age. Even down here in Georgia, till quite recently, it was not irregular for somebody 14 years old to get married. Now, we will be made fun of through much of the world, but now watch it, because there's other parts of the world where that's kind of regular. But anyhow, be that as it may, let's even say 18 years of age, that they would get married, and then they would be in adulthood again with no birth control. Usually, in most cases, we know there's exceptions, barren womb and all this, start having children, and they're having to work their own way through life, and so they're adults. And then with the ubiquitousness of wars, and I'm just talking really more towards American society, but there's elements of this in many societies around the world. I mean, at 18 years old, you're overseas by yourself getting shot at. And so that grows you up real quick as well. And married mothers there with one child, maybe two, or one and one on the way, already when the husband shipped overseas with the draft and all this kind of stuff, I mean, they're having to take it. So adulthood extended very much. Okay, public education comes into America. I won't go into pros and cons of that. That's not the purpose of this. But public education, of course, we want everybody with as much knowledge as possible, true knowledge, truth. The entrance of his words giveth light, gives understanding to the simple. People are destroyed, taken into captivity because they have no knowledge. So we're very much in favor of knowledge. And there is a fine line between education and indoctrination, and then the melding of those two as well. And so you have people going to school, and so instead of being around adults all day, they might just have one teacher, and then they're surrounded by people very close to their own age. And so then the blind leads the blind. They both fall into the ditch, so to speak. And so they're no longer getting maturation and the wisdom of the ancients passed down. It's basically foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. And then with the ubiquitousness of people going to college, it extends into extended adolescence. The same things, the same hormones, flee youthful lusts that are going on in high school, the pecking order of cheerleaders, football players, on and so forth, that this extends into sorority, fraternity systems and other systems at college. And so it just extends adolescence. And so then, maybe instead of an adult maturation marker at 14, 16-year-olds, maybe it's at 24 years old in many cases now, and maybe even further than that, because now with the internet, people can then get out and get into the workplace, and then the workplace ends up being an extended adolescence. People are getting married later and later in life, and so then it's still just about looking good, the gym. It's about workplace dynamics, and you still have the same structures in place instead of a family structure that leads to maturity. Of course, thankfully, less wars, and we won't go into the definitions of that, but at least not as invasive wars and as manpower intensive wars with bullets flying over the head. It still happens some, but it is quite more irregular than it used to be. And so adolescence has gone even further, and people are making money. There's still social status. There's still no family, still no responsibilities, sometimes well into the 30s. So this is what's known. And again, with the ubiquitousness of social media, people can be mean on social media almost anonymously, state their opinions with no repercussions, regardless of how ill-informed. And I'm just going to tell you, 140 letters usually is not enough to fully express all the nuances of an opinion. And it's been the reason we limit comments to 2 sentences because it was really useless when people were writing books in our comment section, books, literal books, many times, often, sometimes multiple times a day. You really couldn't have any constructive or substantive dialogue at all in that format. So, of course, little Instagram snippets and gotcha and owning them and blah, blah, blah is not really going to find the truth. In most cases, there are some exceptions to that. So that's where extended adolescence came from, and so the infantilization of society, and people not having basic responsibility, their life depending on it, and on for work and these type things. And of course, we care for the poor and the infirm. So God bless. I just wanted to give you kind of a viewpoint of what's meant by extended adolescence and the infantilization of society. God bless you. Let's be strong in the Lord. Let's grow in the grace and knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. Let's desire the sincere milk of the Word, but also eat the meat of the Word according to Hebrews 5 and 6. God bless. We love you. Check out our other videos. Join us daily. Talk with you later. Subscribe. Hit the bell notification. Bye-bye.